Welcome to DK Champ. If you haven't already, go back and look at the video that was posted around 1:30, and that was the results of the lineup that I had yesterday at the NBA slate and the 340 points that were scored on that lineup that I gave you all 6 of the players that were in that lineup in yesterday's video. So check that out. Tonight is a very interesting slate. We'll go to utility to start. And I say it's an interesting slate every night because there's always something going on. But typically, I like to look for matchups that are matchups that seem to favor a certain player. And there's a lot of matchups tonight that scare me a lot. So that is something that I'm a little bit nervous about. And there's, with the Denver and Cleveland game, I feel like this game could get out of hand and Denver could pull the starters. And then OKC and Charlotte, I see a good matchup there, but it's not favorable. There's a lot of good defense played in that game, and that's a little bit scary. Clippers and Philly, that's the same thing. A lot of good defense in that game. And the game that sticks out the best for me is going to be Sacramento and Atlanta. And I don't know how many people will be on this game tonight. New Orleans, Portland. I don't know about that one so much. They had a really tough contest last night. New Orleans did, but they've been winning games, and I don't know what the spread is on that game as of right now. But the one that really excites me the most is Sacramento and Atlanta. And the reason that this game excites me is because it's going to be close, it's going to be fast, and hopefully there will not be a lot of defense played in this game. So let's look at it. Let's get out of this part and go just directly to, we'll go back to utility, and then we'll go straight to here. Okay, so I don't think we've seen enough of Trae Young to know if he's able to slow down Fox. Fox has had a really good game, but he does have a questionable mark, but I think that is still the back, and he is listed as probable, so I'm not too worried about that. We have Prince up here, and if you look this game, the most expensive guy in this whole game is 71, and you have starters that are probably going to be coming in. You got starters that could potentially be in the 3,000s. So this is just a ridiculous game. I'm really liking Sacramento over Atlanta. I think it'll be a really tight game, and I could pretty much pick my lineup just off of this game or the guys that I like. So I'm going to go through, and the first one that I like is Fox. And this is not going to be my GPP. I'll probably play it in a $3 GPP, and that's it. And then I'm going to play some double ups, and I'm going to play some steps. And if you are not familiar with the steps process, that is a pretty cool way to, you pay $2 and the top 4 out of 10 get either another $2 ticket to play again, and if you finish in the top 2, you move to this next step up. And when you get to the final step, everybody wins money. And if you lose out, then you lose out. But it's almost like playing double ups, but it's got potential to get yourself moving up in the steps. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to play some of those tonight because I feel like this slate is good for that. So I'm going to go back to Sacramento. So my next pick here is going to be held. And the crazy thing about this is both of these guys have dropped in value or dropped in price. So, actually, Held went up, but he's had back-to-back 40-point nights, and he's getting plenty of minutes. Fox, I think they said, he went down 200. So, but he had a 25-point game. Well, that's not going to happen again. So those two there. I'm just going to go right back to this game. I don't know what the showdown game is. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will. So here's my little stack so far. And I'm not really liking anybody off Atlanta. there's just not a lot of options here. Now for this position, I might just skip out on this and get someone that is the person I'm liking a lot is going to be Harris. So it's a difficult matchup, but I think he's going to be okay. He's proved himself to play well with these tough matchups, so I think might be a good pick for him. With Embiid down below, hopefully Harris is not going to be he's not going to be shy from trying to go to the basket, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But I do like him, and I think the matchup will be okay for tonight. But moving right along, Cauley-Stein, again, he's been so consistent. Everybody on the Sacramento team's been consistent with these guys. All of these guys have been consistent. Now, it gets a little tricky in other places, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. That leaves me with 54 average to go. And, from here, I'm just not a big fan of these other guys, especially the guys in Atlanta. Farrell, Mason have been questionable as far as like who's getting the most minutes there. And I'm just not a big fan. I think that in the guard positions, I pretty much got the guards locked down, so I'm pretty happy with that. We'll go back and look in the forwards and see if there's anybody from Sacramento. Bagley, which I don't know how many minutes he's been getting. It's not very much. I'm a little bit afraid of Bagley at this point. Now, the rest of these guys, I think, no, it was one night he had a good game, but it wasn't this one. Bembry, I put him in a lineup last week, and he didn't really produce. So, I'm not liking Atlanta so much just because the wealth is spread so much in this game. There's so many guys getting the ball, and it's just not a lot of production out of one particular person. Prince, even he's not doing that way. He's getting a ton of minutes, not producing. Bazemore, same thing. Had one breakout game. This is not the game they're going to break out in, I don't believe. So I'm going to stay away from them. And these are my core guys right now. And then I'll give you one utility guy to help do some salary relief. And the other people that I like, C.J. McCollum, I like Bledsoe. Matchup is going to be a little bit, depends on who's guarding who in this position for Bledsoe, but it could potentially be a good scenario for him. I like Randall. I'm not sure what his minutes will be now that Davis is back. So let's keep on rolling down and try to get a value pick down here. Covington could be a good value, but I want somebody lower than this. These other guys are not playing the minutes that we would want them to. Lyles, potentially, but Cleveland's pretty bad, so I don't know if that game will get out of hand or not. And it goes back to Moore. I can't believe that his price is not shooting up with what he's been doing. He's getting all the minutes for 43. If you can get a guy that can play close to 40 minutes in a game, that is just incredible value. Potential. The ceiling is here for him, and he'll be in a lot of my GPPs just pretty much every week. So it should be a decent matchup for him. And the only thing that I can think is that he got a ton of minutes last night, but I don't think there's any risk of him losing a bunch. So I think that he's a good value guy that you could play. Let's look and see if there's any others. So Monk's been getting decent amount of minutes here. Had a tough matchup in Miami. Still got 25 points, so that's good. Yeah, I'm not really on that bandwagon yet. A lot of people put Monty in last night, and he didn't produce for anybody, it seems like. I didn't put him in mine, but I know he was a big talk leading into the game for salary relief. So these are the guys I like. If I had to pick one of these value guys, it's going to be Moore, and that'll leave you at $6,000 for your other two positions. Now, keep an eye on Fox. He didn't play as many minutes last night, didn't perform as well. So if it says he's probable with a back strain. If that's any way changing, you might want to get rid of him and just go with these four. But if he does end out, if he's out for some reason, or you just want to take a punt and you're playing quarter lineups and you're a little bit nervous, then go with Frank Mason, because when Frank Mason gets the minutes, he does decently well. And then you could also take a punt with Farrell. So it just depends on who is what's going to happen there. They didn't get any extra minutes the other night, so I think they're going to go back to Fox again. I don't think this will be a problem, but just in case, keep an eye on him, and you may want to switch him out. And they could also switch Held over to run the point if they needed to. So there's a lot of options there in Sacramento, and they're doing a lot of different things. And it's not helpful for fantasy, but if you get the right guys, it is. So I hope this helps. Leave me a comment down below if you haven't already subscribed. This last night makes my, I want to say, sixth night or sixth time breaking 300 in my lineups, and it is about the fourth time in a row. So thanks for watching, and good luck tonight.